The most dangerous person in your life is rarely the one who screams at you. It's the one who slowly rewrites who you think you are, without you noticing. We like to believe we're in control of our minds. But throughout my life, and through countless conversations with clients and friends, I've seen a hard truth. Your inner world is quietly shaped by the people you let stand closest to you. Some of them look harmless. Some even look charming, spiritual, healed. They smile. They listen. They say the right words. Yet, after spending time with them, you feel heavier, smaller, somehow less you. It's like they leave fingerprints on your thoughts. As human beings, we crave belonging. We want to be seen, chosen, appreciated. That is natural. But Stoic philosophy reminds us of a crucial point. Not everyone deserves a seat at your inner table. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Today, I would add, your thoughts are often dyed by the people you spend time with. Some lift you, others quietly drain you, confuse you, and keep you stuck in a life that no longer fits. In this video, we're going to walk through 10 types of people you should stop giving front row seats in your life. The ones who erode your self-confidence, keep you in a constant state of tension, and slowly disconnect you from your own values. This is not about blaming or hating anyone. It's about seeing clearly. Because the moment you recognize these patterns, you stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "Why am I still allowing this in my life?" Stay with me until the end, and you may discover a key Stoic practice that can help you free your mind, protect your peace, and rebuild a circle that actually supports the person you're becoming. In the next part, let's start with the first type of person you need to watch for. The most painful attacks are rarely shouted at you. They're whispered in a calm voice that says, "I'm just trying to help." Think about that one person in your life who always seems to find what's wrong with you. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you achieve, they somehow land on the flaw, the mistake, the thing you should have done better. On the surface, it sounds like feedback. But underneath, it feels like you're slowly shrinking. Sometimes they show up as the wise friend, the caring partner, even a parent who says they only want the best for you. But notice the pattern. Your efforts are rarely acknowledged. Your progress is minimized. The spotlight is always on your shortcomings, real or imagined. In Stoic terms, this is dangerous, not because of their words alone, but because of what you let those words become inside your mind. Epictetus reminded his students, "It's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things." Over time, you start to confuse their voice with your own inner voice. Their criticism becomes your judgment. You begin to live in a quiet prison of never enough, never smart enough, never attractive enough, never successful enough. And here's the crucial point. People who constantly chip away at you are often fighting their own insecurity. Keeping you small makes them feel safer. Healthy criticism is different. It may be honest, even direct, but you feel supported, not humiliated. You feel challenged, not crushed. So ask yourself, after spending time with this person, do I feel clearer and stronger, or more confused and ashamed? The moment you see this pattern, you can start choosing a different circle, one that corrects you with respect and believes in your potential. In the next part, we'll look at another subtle drain on your energy, the person who only appears when they need something from you. Some people don't miss you. They just miss the favors, the answers, and the access you give them. You probably know this type already. Days, weeks, sometimes months go by in silence. Then suddenly, your phone lights up. "Hey, can I ask you a quick favor? Do you have a minute? I really need your help." In that moment, they sound warm, grateful, almost affectionate. They flatter you. They tell you how wise, kind, or reliable you are. But if you look closely, there's a pattern. They reach out when they need advice, money, emotional support, or your time. Once they get what they came for, they fade out again. They rarely ask, "How are you?" Really, when they don't need anything. In Stoic philosophy, relationships are supposed to be a place where virtue is practiced, courage, honesty, reciprocity. But this dynamic isn't about mutual growth. It's transactional. You become a tool, not a human being. Over time, that does something to your soul. You start feeling used. You start doubting your own boundaries. Am I selfish if I say no? Maybe I'm overreacting. They're going through a lot. Yet your emotional account is constantly overdrawn. You give energy, time, and empathy, and what you get back is silence. That slow imbalance erodes trust, not just in them, but sometimes in people in general. A healthy connection doesn't always split things 50/50, but it does move both ways. Sometimes you carry them, sometimes they carry you. There is gratitude, not entitlement. So ask yourself, if I stopped being useful to this person tomorrow, would they still want me in their life? Recognizing this pattern isn't about becoming cold. It's about protecting your limited time and heart, so you can invest them in people who show up for you even when there's nothing to gain. In the next part, we'll explore another subtle threat to your self-worth, the person who constantly belittles you even when they're smiling. Some of the deepest wounds in your life were never shouted at you. They were laughed off as just a joke. You know this person. On the surface, they're witty, playful, maybe even admired by others. But when you share a win, an idea, or a dream, something subtle happens. They tilt their head, smirk, and say something that makes the room laugh, while a part of you dies a little inside. They're experts at making your achievements look small. You tell them you've finally finished a big project, and they respond, "Took you long enough?" You share a personal goal, and they say, "Are you sure that's realistic for someone like you?" Then, if you ever speak up, they hide behind humor. Relax. I'm kidding. You're too sensitive. Over time, this can be more damaging than open hostility. You start to doubt your own perception. Am I overreacting? Maybe I really am not that impressive. In Stoic philosophy, your worth doesn't depend on applause or comparison. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself not to be too concerned with what others think. But even a Stoic emperor had to be careful about which voices he allowed close to his heart. When you stay around people who constantly push you down, their view of you can slowly become your view of you. A healthy friend doesn't need to put you beneath them to feel tall. They can disagree without disrespect, tease without wounding, and challenge you without erasing your value. So ask yourself, do I feel smaller or stronger after spending time with this person? Do their words help me grow, or do they make me want to hide? The moment you see this clearly, you can step out of the role of the small one and choose to surround yourself with people who treat your potential as something sacred, not something to mock. In the next part, we'll look at a different kind of danger, someone whose relationship with the truth slowly poisons every connection in your life. Some people don't break your heart with one big betrayal. They break it with 1,000 tiny lies you were trained to overlook. You've probably felt this before. You catch a small inconsistency, a story that doesn't quite match what they said last week, a harmless white lie they brush off with a smile. On its own, it seems insignificant, but over time, those little cracks spread through the whole foundation. With this kind of person, lying isn't a rare mistake, it's a habit. They bend the truth to look better, to avoid responsibility, to keep control of the situation. Sometimes they exaggerate to impress. Sometimes they hide details to escape consequences. And sometimes they lie simply because it's easier than being honest for 5 uncomfortable minutes. The Stoics were brutally clear about this. You cannot build a good life on a crooked character. Epictetus taught that our words should be aligned with reality, because when we twist reality for others, we eventually twist it for ourselves. Living with a chronic liar feels like living in a fog. You start asking yourself, did that really happen? Am I crazy? Or is something off? You don't know what's real anymore. That uncertainty creates constant tension in your chest. You're not just doubting them, you're doubting your own perception. And here's the hard truth. If someone lies over and over, and you never address it, the lie becomes the unspoken rule of the relationship. They learn that deceit is acceptable, that your trust is something they can spend freely without cost. But trust is the backbone of every real bond. Once it's shattered, staying often means betraying yourself. So ask yourself, is this connection built on truth, or on stories I'm afraid to question? The moment you honor that question, you give yourself permission to step out of the fog and move toward people whose words and actions actually match. In the next part, we'll look at a different kind of poison, the person who quietly resents your growth and can't stand your success. Some people don't hate you, They just hate that your success reminds them of everything they haven't become. You can feel it the moment you share good news. Their smile freezes for half a second. Their eyes dim. Their energy shifts. They say, "Wow, that's great." But something in their voice gives them away. It's tight, forced, hollow. These are the people who can't celebrate you, not because you did anything wrong, but because your growth exposes the parts of themselves they've avoided for years. Instead of being inspired, they become bitter. Instead of being supportive, they compare. It shows up in subtle ways. Passive-aggressive compliments that sting more than they uplift. Comments like, "You just got lucky," or "That's not a big deal." Conversations where they redirect the spotlight back to themselves. Situations they create that make you feel smaller, less deserving, less capable. And if you don't notice it early, their envy begins to shape your behavior. You start shrinking your victories. You downplay your progress. You stop sharing wins because you feel guilty for outgrowing someone who refuses to grow. From a Stoic perspective, envy is a sickness of the soul, a misalignment with reality. Marcus Aurelius wrote that another person's progress is no injury to your own. Yet people ruled by jealousy live in a constant battle with what they think life owes them. Your success becomes their reminder that they haven't stepped into their potential. But here's the truth you must hold on to. Your light is not responsible for someone else's darkness. You were not put here to dim yourself so someone else can feel taller. So ask yourself, do I feel unsafe to shine around this person? Do I have to shrink to keep the peace? When you step away from those who resent your growth, you make room for people who see your success as a reason to cheer, not compete. In the next part, we'll look at another subtle form of disrespect. People who repeatedly cross your boundaries, even when you say no. One of the fastest ways to lose yourself is to keep saying yes while every part of your body is screaming no. There is a certain type of person who treats your limits as suggestions, not as lines. You say you're tired, they insist you stay longer. You say you're not comfortable, they push anyway. You say, "I can't talk right now," and they call 3 more times. It might look small from the outside. Just do this for me. Don't be so serious. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? But pay attention to the pattern. They pull on your time as if it belongs to them. They step into your personal space without asking. They demand emotional labor when you have nothing left to give. And when you finally stand up for yourself, they sulk, get angry, or make you feel guilty for protecting your own sanity. In Stoic philosophy, your inner peace is something sacred. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that his mind was his own citadel. A fortress is not cruel because it has walls. It's wise because it knows what must be kept out. When someone repeatedly tramples over your emotional, physical, or time limits, the damage isn't just practical, it's psychological. You start to feel wrong for needing rest. You feel selfish for wanting privacy. You begin to believe that your needs are always too much. That confusion is exactly what makes this dynamic so manipulative. A healthy connection may sometimes negotiate schedules or preferences, but it never demands that you abandon self-respect. So ask yourself, who in your life gets upset when you stop overextending yourself? Who only loves you when you are easy to access and easy to use? The moment you draw a firm line and honor it, you send a clear message to them and to yourself that mutual respect is not optional. It's the entry ticket. In the next part, we'll look at a closely related pattern, the person who doesn't just cross your limits, but openly exploits your kindness for their own gain. Some people don't want a relationship with you. They want a subscription to your kindness. You can recognize them if you look closely. At the beginning, they seem almost perfect, warm, supportive, full of gratitude. They know how to say the right words. They call you brother, sister, my best friend. But watch when they show up. They appear when they need a ride, a favor, a loan, a couch, your contacts, your skills, your listening ear, at 1 a.m. In those moments, they are friendly, attentive, even affectionate. But when the situation flips, when you are tired, when you need a hand, when you are quietly falling apart, suddenly they're busy, distant, impossible to reach. For them, people are not souls with their own burdens and dreams. People are resources, tools, stepping stones. And if you're honest, you can feel it in the way the conversation always leans in their favor, in how your schedule bends while theirs never does. The Stoics spoke often about justice, treating others fairly, as fellow citizens of the world. A just life is not built on one-sided transactions. When someone constantly withdraws from your time, your energy, your empathy, without ever depositing care or concern, your inner balance will eventually collapse. These people are skilled at emotional pressure. The moment you hesitate or say no, they sigh, sound hurt, and make you feel like you're abandoning them. I thought I could count on you. You're the only one I have. I can. So ask yourself, if I stopped rescuing this person, would anything about this relationship remain? Or does it exist only as long as I'm useful? Recognizing this pattern is not cruelty, it's clarity. You are allowed to step back, reclaim your time, and give your kindness to those who see you as a human being, not as an endless favor machine. In the next part, we'll meet a different kind of drain. The person who never truly celebrates your success, no matter how hard you've worked. One of the quietest forms of heartbreak is this. You finally win, and the person you care about acts like it doesn't matter. You share something that cost you time, effort, and courage. Maybe it's a promotion, a degree, a small habit you finally changed, or even the fact that you just survived a tough season. And instead of warmth, you get a shrug, a flat, nice. A quick nod before they switch the topic back to themselves. This is the person who is the exact opposite of a supporter. They don't openly attack you. They just refuse to acknowledge your growth. They treat your progress as trivial, as if it's no big deal, as if anyone could have done it. If they do, say, congratulations, it feels mechanical, like they're reading from a script. Over time, that indifference starts to eat at you. You begin to wonder, am I overvaluing my progress? Maybe what I did isn't worth celebrating. This is where the damage happens not just to your mood, but to your sense of worth. Your big moments start to feel small, because the people closest to you keep dimming them. Often, this attitude is rooted in quiet resentment or jealousy. Your movement reminds them of their own stagnation. So instead of facing their discomfort, they freeze you out emotionally. But from a Stoic perspective, another person's progress is not your enemy. It's evidence that growth is possible. A wise person lets others' success cool them higher, not make them colder. Healthy connection is reciprocal. It doesn't mean you throw a party for every tiny win, but it does mean you recognize what matters to the people you love. You clap for them the way you'd hope they'd clap for you. So ask yourself, who goes silent when you shine? Who only feels comfortable when you stay small? When you stop begging for recognition from those who withhold it, you create space for people who are genuinely happy to see you rise. In the next part, we'll look at a more public kind of harm, the person who repeatedly puts you in embarrassing situations and calls it fun. Some people don't attack you in private. They attack you in public, then hide behind the words, "Relax, I'm just joking." You're at dinner, at work, at a family gathering, and suddenly it happens again. They bring up that one story you trusted them with. They joke about your insecurity, your past mistake, your body, your love life. The room laughs. You smile on the outside, but inside, your chest tightens. This person has a talent for knocking you off balance. No matter the setting, they find a way to cross the line. They ask invasive questions in front of others. They reveal details you shared in confidence. They put you on the spot, then watch you squirm. And if you say anything, they roll their eyes. You're too sensitive. Okay, come on. It was funny. Over time, being around them feels like walking through a minefield. You never know what version of you they will throw into the spotlight next. Instead of feeling safe, you're constantly scanning the room, preparing for the next jab. From a Stoic perspective, friendship should be a place where you can practice courage and honesty, not a stage where your vulnerability is turned into a performance. Seneca wrote that a true friend is someone you can be with and feel at ease. As if alone, this is the opposite. What makes this pattern so harmful is not just the joke itself, but the message behind it. Your boundaries don't matter. Your pain is entertainment. So ask yourself, do I feel more relaxed or more guarded around this person? Do they protect my dignity, or do they gamble with it for a cheap laugh? When you step back from those who turn your life into material for their comedy, you make room for people who protect your name even when you're not in the room. In the next part, we'll look at a final, exhausting dynamic. The person who drains you mentally and emotionally every time you interact. Pay attention to the people you have to recover from. Your body often recognizes emotional exhaustion long before your mind admits it. There is a certain kind of person who leaves you feeling lighter when they arrive and empty when they leave. Every conversation becomes a therapy session, where you are the therapist, the parent, the crisis hotline, and the audience, all at once. No matter how much time, advice, or support you give, it never seems to be enough. They talk about their problems on repeat. The same story, the same drama, the same pain told again and again, but never with the intention of changing anything. When you try to gently offer solutions, they brush them aside. They're not really seeking growth. They're seeking a place to drop their emotional weight. And that place is you. Over time, this dynamic becomes what psychologists call an emotional black hole. Your attention, your empathy, your energy keep getting pulled in, but almost nothing comes back. Your needs are postponed. Your feelings are minimized. You walk away from the interaction feeling tense, drained, and strangely guilty for wanting space. From a Stoic perspective, compassion is a virtue, but self-sacrifice without wisdom is not. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that he was a part of the human community, but he also guarded his inner citadel. You are not required to abandon your mental health so that someone else can avoid doing their inner work. A simple test is this. After spending time with this person, do I feel more grounded or more depleted? Do I feel seen or do I disappear in their story? Recognizing this pattern doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring for yourself too. You set limits, you step back when needed, and you choose to surround yourself with people who recharge your spirit instead of constantly unplugging it. In the final part of this video, we'll bring all 10 types together, and I'll share a Stoic framework you can use to rebuild a healthier, calmer circle around you. Your life doesn't just change when you read the right book. It changes when you stop giving your time and heart to the wrong people. If you've recognized even one of these 10 types in your life, that's not a failure. That's awareness. And awareness is the first step toward freedom. The Stoics were very clear about this. You become like the people you spend your days with. Your habits, your thoughts, even your sense of what is normal are shaped by the company you keep. So choosing your circle isn't just a social decision. It's a spiritual one. Having the right people around you is not a luxury. It's essential for mental and emotional health. People who respect your boundaries, speak truth with kindness, celebrate your growth, and stand firm when life shakes you that is your real wealth. Letting go, on the other hand, will rarely feel comfortable. You might feel guilty. You might miss them. You might even question yourself. But ask this simple question. Does this relationship help me become a wiser, calmer, more courageous version of myself? Or does it pull me further away from who I want to be? From a Stoic perspective, you are responsible for what you allow into your inner world. You cannot control how others act, but you can decide who gets a front row seat to your mind and heart. Your peace, your clarity, your long-term happiness are worth more than keeping a connection that quietly destroys them. If this video has helped you see your relationships more clearly, I'd love for you to stay on this journey with me. Subscribe to the channel, like and share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next lesson on building a stronger, more grounded life. Take care of your mind, protect your circle, and I'll see you in the next video.